Okay, so let's be honest here. 2020 was probably one of the worst years for mankind. Okay, not quite that bad, but still bad enough to put an impact for most people. Social life distorted people and secluded people more than a Russian prisoner. But there's one thing that was good about 2020, and it was video games. 2020, although being a bad year for most people that talk to each other, yeah, that's not me, marked some of the best games I've played in forever. And honestly, there are tons of different variety of gameplay and new titles that some people did not expect. So why not talk about top 10 best games I played of 2020? Number 10. Animal Crossing. And for most people that are die-hard fans, believe this should be higher on the list. I just believe that the game was fun, but only for short bursts at a time. And honestly, I haven't played this game since May of this year. Yes, they continue to bring tons of exciting content, and honestly, this game was a lot of fun when I first started playing it back in March. I remember watching Shooting Stars with my girlfriend, who absolutely was a nut for this game and practically plays this for hours every day. Pretty much like most Animal Crossing games, just, with more horizon. There's some fun things to do in the game, and for people that like being creative, it's an absolute joy. Recreate your island, change it, destroy it, change it. My girlfriend is constantly changing her island all the time, and is always talking about cool seasonal updates that they keep putting out, and they keep adding new animals and new updates, and there's new seasons and all that kind of stuff. So there's always a lot of cool things to keep bringing this back, and that's why I see it continues to be popular and is fun, and that's why it's number 10 on my list. Number 9. Number 9 is a game I completely did not expect out of anywhere to be even close to being in the top 10 of this list, but it's a game that I completely forgot about, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. This game promised to be a new evolution in RPGs as for Dragon Ball fans and as well for RPG fans. There's things that they did in the past, like having an open world RPG elements, like discovery, flying around, and battles that felt just like the Dragon Ball games in the past. There's things that did well and things that did not do well, but honestly, it was a fun game to play. This game has a lot of things that Dragon Ball Z games have not done in the past, like combat. It's pretty much like Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2, and if you like those combat, you'll like this too. The RPG elements like fishing don't feel like it should be natural, but there's some elements in here where you actually go fishing with your son Gohan, and that kind of made the more immersive, being like a true Dragon Ball RPG that you can't really expect from a normal Dragon Ball game. It was really something new. They also added new DLC like Resurrection of F Saga and Battle of the Gods, which in my book is pretty sweet. And personally, if you haven't tried it and you want to try a new Dragon Ball Z game, I definitely recommend playing this one. Number 8 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, or Call of Duty 18, or if you consider all 24 Call of Duties, including Nintendo DS and remasters, 24. This Call of Duty is recovering from a disaster that was Black Ops 4, and this game pretty much improves on everything, like including a campaign. The campaign feels like more roots to Call of Duty than it ever has before. Going back towards Black Ops 1, stealth is the main focus during the campaign, and the level design for it is pretty sweet. Multiplayer is all over the place, lots of people, and you can't hear Black Ops Cold without skill-based matchmaking and other issues. But playing with friends is pretty fun. Zombie seems to be the main thing of the game, although there's only one map currently. It's really awesome. A really good flow to the map design. Tons of guns to do, and some other side content to do as well. If you look past a lack of content in terms of multiplayer and zombies, the game is actually really fun. But playing the game by yourself doesn't feel as rewarding as it should. Black Ops Cold War really feels like zombies is the identity, just like it was with Black Ops 4. But honestly, it's a really fun game, and that's why it's number 8 on the list. Number 7. Number 7 is a game that really showed off how amazing owning a PC can be. Microsoft Flight Simulator. This was actually one of the games that could show you that you could fit the whole world in a game that is still smaller than Modern Warfare. And this game is filled with beautiful graphics, realism out the wazoo, and it's just one of the most beautiful games I've ever experienced in my entire life. There is a huge learning curve trying to learn how to fly a plane without a $1,000 simulation rig, but if you're trying to just play it with just a controller, a mouse, and keyboard, it does a pretty decent way of learning you how to fly. It's cool to see your hometown. It's cool to see New York. It's cool to see flying over into Asia and Japan and all these other cool areas. It is probably one of the coolest experiences, although it may not be gameplay that most people want, but it is one of the games that you have to experience, especially with Xbox Game Pass. It's one of the most beautiful looking games ever. It's the game where you can spend hours just flying over cities, or it can be just a couple minutes trying to see something in an area, or it's like traveling without having to pay for it. Well, I mean, you have to pay for the game, but definitely impressive in terms of graphics, and flying into a gap that just is a giant hole in the ground is also cool too. Number 6. Number 6 is Minecraft Dungeons. It's actually a pretty fun game. It reminds me a lot of Diablo, but it takes its own narrative on the standard traditional dungeon crawler. There's a lot of cool enemy types that you won't find in Minecraft, as well as other cool weapons you won't find in Minecraft. So it is a new Minecraft experience. The game is essentially you save the world from a bunch of illagers. It's a pretty basic story where you attack the protagonist, but I don't think there would be another way to really tackle the game. You can also play the game with yourself or with other friends to gain amazing loot that is only generated to you, and your teammate cannot take that loot. So it's kind of nice that they implemented something like this, but it can be annoying when your teammate continues to get legendaries. Wesley, I'm looking at you. Gain amazing loot by either killing enemies, bosses, or opening chests, which are just scattered throughout randomly generated levels. And it's honestly pretty much a new experience every single time, but you do seem to find that there are mostly the same spots within every level, although it is randomly generated. There is a DLC content as well as new biomes into the mixture, new enemies, new weapons, and it seems to be updated pretty frequently. There's a lot of promise for future installments of this Minecraft series, and I think Dungeons is a huge right step in that direction. Number 5. Oh boy, is everyone going to cancel me on this one. Cyberpunk 2077. This is probably one of the most controversial games of 2020. Everyone have been waiting for years for this game, and some people just thought it fell flat. I honestly enjoyed myself. It was a pretty decent time. Everyone's probably like, what the fuck? Yes, I played the game on PC, so my experience was not hindered as much as console players for that part. Most players that have been playing on consoles, for the most part, seem to be upset. But a lot of my friends that have played it have not returned it in a way, and it's just not really that bad from what I hear. Anyways, this game is like Microsoft Flight Simulator. Visually impressive. Narratively, it is very good as well. My biggest pet peeve is combat. The combat that does happen seems too easy and isn't frequent as I hoped. But the side quests, the relationships you build with the characters like Jackie Wells, Judy, Carrie, and Panam are probably the most immersive side quests in this game, and honestly are one of the major highlights of this game. If you have not done any of the relationship quests, I definitely guarantee you will enjoy them. And of course, people are zipping for Panam. I don't know why. Playing this game on PC at the time with the Ryzen 5 2600X and a 2070 Super, the game ran at like 50 to 45 FPS at 1440p max settings. And I will say it's a pretty amazing experience regardless of the immersive frame rate cap that CD Projekt Red seems to be having for this game. It's buggy, but honestly, nothing that bugged my game, and I never had an issue with glitch side quests or any corrupted saves. Obviously, that goes to show the part for any other bugs that are in the game. game was fun, but if you're on the fence about it, I would definitely wait for it to go on sale, but it is completely worth your money. Number 4, Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's obviously a remake of the 1997 classic Final Fantasy VII. This is an inspiration while making a game feel nothing like original, but also looking like the original in every single way. The game is a mixture of strategy and attacks like Final Fantasy 15 that makes the game feel more original than the new one, but as well as the original as the remake. The game is truly amazing, and seeing everything that I saw as a kid look this amazing, I was very happy from what I was playing. With Final Fantasy 16 coming out next year, I feel like part 2 for the remake is a distant, long ways away. But everything about this game, from the dialogue to the combat to the cutscenes, was absolutely fantastic. Final Fantasy VII got kind of shafted in terms of this limelight of Sony's 4 other titles that came out that same year. Honestly, this feels like a huge step in the direction for Final Fantasy, and I hope that this doesn't dawn the light for the Final Fantasy Remake 2 that we're going to be seeing in the years to come. Number 3.
We will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
Doom Eternal is the game where the enemies hear boss music when you walk into the room. Your goal in Doom Eternal is to save Earth from being invaded by hell, and that's it. There are badass weapons, badass music, and badass characters. The Doom Slayer. This is an amazing game to play, especially when it came all the way back out in March, and I'm currently replaying this on PC with the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And still, this game is still one of the most amazing. I'm a huge Doom fan, and this game stays true with the music, killing, and fundamentals of what made Doom 2016. All new secrets, new weapons, and now they're having DLC, which expands the story with new content and new enemies to fight. And the DLC is absolutely crazy. I will say the DLCs are really, really good. This is definitely one of the best FPSs of 2020. id Software is absolutely killing it with the Doom remakes. Doom 3, if it's anything like the original, will put a coffin in this, but I don't think they're going to be doing that with the next Doom series. Number 2, Demon Souls. Demon Souls is a remake of the classic PlayStation 3 title by the same name. This is the birth of the Soul series and is the grandfather of the hard games. This game is graphically amazing. That it being on the PlayStation 5 is crazy to see the birth from Demon Souls from 2009 to the now remake of 2020. This game is frustrating at times, not gonna lie. That I played Demon Souls before Dark Souls. This game is way harder than any of the Souls games in my personal opinion. Every time you die, you lose half your HP and drop all of your experience points and have to go back to where you died to retrieve it. Honestly, that's why I love the game so much. It's a challenging and very brutal game at times, and is the main reason that hard games have become popular in the first place. Come with a dagger that does no damage to upgrading great swords. Don't like up close? Try Broken Magic. My personal favorite builds in Demon Souls is tank builds, which are basically guys with giant swords, heavy armor, and rolling. That's the tank build, and giant great shields and whatnot. So Demon Souls is one of the staple of hard games and looks graphically more impressive than its 2009 counterpart, with all of the same bugs and quirks that were pretty much relevant in the 2009 release for PlayStation 3. But I can't recommend enough. If you somehow were able to manage to get a PlayStation 5, which, thank you scalpers and bots, don't have them, but if you do, definitely pick up Demon Souls, and if you love a challenge, get the game. Totally worth it and life-changing. Number 1. Number 1 is Ghost of Tsushima, and it's one of the best games. This last year, Sony put out a lot of incredible titles. Like I said, Final Fantasy VII and Demon Souls, and I mean, they've been doing really good with their exclusives, but Ghost of Tsushima seems to be one of the most interesting titles I have played in quite a while. The stealth action game played from a third-person perspective. It's in the 13th century on the island of Tsushima, and it's attacking from the Mongols. Your character is captured and left for dead. There's a vendetta, and you are now named the Ghost of Tsushima. And is a stepping stone for the single-player experience that not a lot of games seem to offer nowadays, especially narrative-driven single players. They're starting to go more towards multiplayer online, MMOs, whatever. Combat is an amazing part of the game. You can engage in direct confrontation with enemies, which are brutal, using weapons such as the Techi, and alternatively using stealth to evade enemies and strike them silently with tools. Firecrackers are also used to create diversion, smoke bombs, and disorient alerted foes using kunai for striking multiple enemies. 1 versus 1 dueling with non-playable characters is optional and is an amazing experience. Sound design plays a very, very good role in Ghost of Tsushima, just like Doom Eternal with their music and sound effects they make. This game just has a really cool vibe. Japan is always something that I've truly loved growing up. Seeing samurais as well in this game just happens to be more icing on the cake. It should be played by everyone that has a PlayStation 4, in my personal opinion. It's one of the best games on the last generation for PlayStation 4. It just happens to be one of the best, honestly, in my personal opinion. I gotta say, that was probably one of the best games I've played this year, by far. So, guys, that's my list. What was your favorite game of this year? Maybe something that I missed that was in your personal top 10 list. Leave your comments in this discussion below on what your favorite games were and what you are also looking forward to next year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave me a like, as it shows me what you guys are liking on the channel, so I can continue to keep bringing you guys that great content. Please subscribe. It really helps out the channel. We'll be doing more videos like this throughout the next couple of weeks. For watching, just watching helps me out tremendously. Share this video with your friends. Let me know what your guys' favorite games were. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.